In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I gauge order flow using the Algo Logic Master Suite Indicator Bundle with my screen setup and everything. So let's dive right in. My name is Jack. I'm with Avoda Trading. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get right into this. So with this video, I'm going to have a prerequisite that you already know what Goldbach is and quarterly theory. Not going to go to any of the teaching, but I'm just going to dive right in to show you my settings to show you how I set everything up. So on the left here, I have my lower time frame entry panel. The 1 minute or 15-second is what I have it as. The top right panel is my medium time frame. It's like a 5 to 15 minute. And on this one, I have I have it set up as the 9 minute. And then this bottom right one is my kind of higher time frame, 27 minute to 1 hour time frame. So with my indicators, I gauge these. So with my Goldbach indicator, my Goldbach Master Suite here is that on my panel that I actually execute on, I have the float function on for my levels. So my Goldbach levels, I've got where's it at? So I think I missed it. Float small lines, and you can copy and paste what I have there. Um, but that would give you what you're seeing here. So I've got my levels here, so I can see where I want to execute, the abbreviations, I can see the numbers, all that good stuff. And then for my ghost lines, the PO3 uh, ranges above or below, I have 3 up and 1 down. So because I'm already at a lower time frame PO3 at 243 on the 1 minute, I only need to see maybe the 81. I don't want to see the 27, but I do want to see the 729, the 2187, and the 6561. So that's why I want to see that. And what that will do, these ghost lines will show the GIP levels and the EQ levels of the 3 up from 243. So it'll show you the 729, 2187, 6561, and that's what you're seeing here. The 81, I'm sorry, the 81 GIP, or if you're seeing, zoom out here, up here is the GIP level for the 729 50 EQ and the 2187 GIP 17 GIP level up here. So that's what you're seeing right there. And so I have that set up, and then my quarterly theory form one toolkit. You can just copy and paste my settings here, but this is what I have. In the beginning of the week on Monday, I'll have my NWOG and NDOGs open, but typically I just turn them off after Tuesday. But look at all this, copy and paste all that there. Um, and yeah, just look at what I have, copy and paste. But that's typically how I like to have it. The opacity is anywhere from like a 12 to 10%, 5% here. On the 6 hour time frames, I'm sorry, the 6 hour quarters, I don't actually have those as a box. If I wanted to, I could have like a border around them, but I just find that it's just too convoluted with that. So I just keep those off at 100% transparency. And then I have a border with one with a small line border of with like a 10% opacity. So that's what you're seeing there. Probably bring this down a little bit more so you can see it better. The lines, if I wanted to see that, but I mean, I'm pretty zoomed in on my entry, so I'm like looking like this. So I don't really need to see that all that much. Um, anyway, so that's what I have for those, and then the rest, depending on your screen, if you've got a white background or black background, of course you can adjust all these settings. I only show my the labels. I don't show the vertical lines, so I click all these off. And then for my TMSO lines and my custom timelines, you could have your custom 930 open or 830 open or whatever it is, and have those here if you wanted to, but I don't. And then the only HUD that I have, table that I have, is the true open table, which is on my upper right for my quarterly theory, and then my true open lines, my higher time frame true opens, I have a little bit more of a contrast, so you'll see previous day high here, and yeah, previous week way down here. It already got swept, so it won't show it there. Let's keep going down the settings. Don't want to make this video too long. And then with this, with true opens, you can choose which true opens you want to see. Sometimes I want to see my true London open to see if we get under there. But typically, you could add those on here and it'll show on the table. But um, I'll just leave that off for now. Typically, I like to see TMSO, and then PM, uh, T true New York open, PM open, true day open, true week open. Typically, don't need to see true year open or true month open. Just if I'm above or below two or more true opens, that'll be a good entry for me. So yeah, I could do with just that, just the true week opens. But I like to keep the true month open and sometimes true year, depending if I'm swinging something. But and then of course table position, choose that how you want to. Text size small, all that good stuff. Um, and then these are the sweeps. So I found that for me on this my entry window, I don't like to have my sweeps on. Oops. So I like to just show the sweeps for my 6 hour sessions. That way, when I'm on my like 1 hour and just doing and I'm reading order flow on the 1 hour, kind of getting a little bit higher time frame analysis, then if I put my quarterly theory oops, toolkit on there, and then that way it'll show load. Let me turn off the SMT one for a second. And then now it'll show previous day low, Asia open, current London open, Asia high, London high, previous day high, and it'll just show the levels of where that's at. So that's why I like to have the 6 hour uh, 6 hour sweeps. I don't need to show the liquidity pools, but if I did want to, you could do that. And then for the rest of them, I just like to see the sweeps. So if I had this liquidity pool open, it would show a line going across, or like a dash line. In this case, I picked the dash line to go across for those times that aren't open yet. But I found that it's just too many lines on my chart, so that's why I just have it off. And yeah, so then on the Goldbach Master Suite, I definitely like to have my Algo sequence action HUD down on the right corner, because on the higher time frame, as an example, let's say this is 1 hour, we are looking bullish, right? So the way that this works is once we break above a zero level, in this case, we went from one lower range, created a new range higher, we broke above the zero level, and we've held above it. We wicked down into the rejection block level, found support, made order block right here. So this is your CSD on the higher time frame. Oops. Where's my line? All right, this is your order block. Look at that, lines up right with the order block. Well, that's super thick. So that's your CSD line, right? Lines up with the order block right there. That little OB. Make it bigger so you guys can see that. But so create the order block, and then we'll wick into the order block, getting support, and eventually we're going to go higher. But that's how I read order flow, of course, with SMTs as well. So these SMTs, I suspect, are going to be faded, and then I suspect that these targets will be met on Friday or tomorrow. Um, I'm filming this Thursday night, and so, anyways, that's how I have that set up for my. The reason why I want to see this algo sequence HUD table down here is that I'll kind of look at that to see, you know, higher time frame wise, what are we doing? But on the lower time frame, it could be looking bearish, right? Because we broke below this high, and we're now within the range of this lower 243 range. So, but on the medium time frame, this is a 729 PO3 number. We're on the sequence is actually activated. So, we broke above the 0 level. Where are we at here? We broke above the 0 level. Boom, found support. We hit the breaker level at the 41, came down, activated the limit buy at the 29, and then now we should be going up to equilibrium at least up here. So that's why I like to leave the sequence down there and then turn everything off except having the table, the PO3 status box down there, so I can know which PO3 number I'm on. So this is currently on tiny because I just want to have really small. So sorry if you can't see that, but right down here is the table that'll just show the PO3 number and the dealing range high and low numbers. So most of my indicators, of course, are on my on here on my my entry time frame, my 1 minute to 15-second time frame. And going back to the Goldbach Master Suite on the time aspect, the Goldbach time part, I have it as, you can just copy paste all this, but of course Zurich time, I'll limit to just 15 minutes or less. I do a standard pivot mode. If I want to do ATR mode, I could do that as well to cut out some of the noise, but with the filter that I have on, that cuts out most of the noise. And so, so I just leave it at B, at standard. You can copy and paste all that, screenshot, or just pause the video, look at all that. And then with my, I actually want to see not just my start and end nodes, but I want to see my SMR nodes. So that's my start and end nodes plus what I call the anchor nodes. So it's 1723 and the 4753 nodes. So the node right before the end path, the very last end number, which is either 2935 or 7177, depending on which algo path you're on. So then you look at all those settings if you want, see the tiny, all that stuff. And then for the active sweep line, I just have it as 0 for the transparency. And then for the, once those have been swept, I gray them out. And I like to leave them on the chart because in case I want to kind of track the path and see which path we're on, then I can kind of see that through here and just kind of look back to see which numbers have been swept. So instead of having them just disappear altogether, I can at least see which numbers have been swept. And so I can gauge order flow that way. And so, so that's that for the algo path. I actually don't like having my CSD line show. So I preferably, because not every CSD happens on the end path or beginning path. So I just keep that off. My CSD indicator is more on the sequential SMT, because once I see a FEG or a IFEG pop up after an SSMT, that is my CSD. Of course, you can use the order block CSD as well, but that's how I'll have that set up. So what else? Goldbach time. I think that's it for the Goldbach time. Oh yeah, and then these are the colors. What these mean are, this is the background. This is the cheat sheet. So the background color, the border color, the base text color, the active current node right now that's happening. So right now it's 1723. I should have this as the same color as the yellow, since this is the color that I've chosen for the anchor node. Yeah, I'll just have it as that. And then for the anchor node, I have it as like a light blue. So anchor node, target node, so the next node number would be purple. Interterm node, I mean, I could leave that as gray. My start node is green, my anchor node is blue, and then my end node is red. So that's how I'll have it there. And then once I'm actually entering, I see an SMT, and I want to get an entry, I drill down to the 15 seconds. That way it'll give me the Goldbach time quicker, and then I'll get a better entry once I get it like CSD on the 15 second. So so anyway, so that's what that looks like. And then from my SMT indicator, the settings I have here, you can just pause it and look at all the settings I have. I typically like to have my alerts only on the 90-minute and higher. So on the 22-minute or the nano, I definitely don't want to have an alert there, but I have an alert on my 90 minutes because typically those would create a larger expansion, larger reversal when we have a 90-minute SMT. And then for the actual what I see, I just look at the wicks. I don't look at hidden. I can do both. I was doing both for a while, but it just got a little too messy with the lines. But if you do both, I recommend having the hidden SMT with the dash line, and then don't do a label. So I just turn the transparency down for the label color, and yeah, that way you're not seeing two labels on the SMT. So of course, remove SMT, and then you can choose whichever colors that you want there. I'm gonna go back just to Wix, and you can copy all these numbers for yours as well. And then I want to actually see my first presented FVG and first presented IFVG on each time frame, because let's say we hit a 3-month SMT, I want to see the first presented 1 minute or 15-second FVG or IFVG that's presented. So in this case, we have a 6-month, I'm sorry, 6-hour session SMT here, and we got a first presented IFVG here. Boom. Looks like we did have SIBI as well, but it just got mitigated, so that's why it's not showing anymore. But did have that SIBI right here, lined up with that um, IFVG, and so anyways, that could have been your entry right there, right? Boom, enter, aim for the sell side right here, or Asia low, whatever. So um, anyway, that's how that's working, and that's how I like to have my setup. So I like to see, again, show all first presented FEG and IFG on every single quarter. The monthly, the yearly, the weekly, I'm sorry, the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, daily, 6-hour, 90-minute, micro, and the nano. So for the nano, I don't, I take my transparency for my labels all the way down, and instead of having a solid line, I have a dotted line. So when I see a dotted line, then I know it's a nano SMT. I don't need to see the label for that. But for the rest of them, I just have a solid line with the label color, all that good stuff. And then I typically, this might be a little bit high, but my label offset, probably like 20, 25 is good enough. I saw this label just really high above this SMT, so maybe like a 20 would be better. But anyways, you can just play with that, see what suits your chart the best. But typically, that's how I'll look at that's how I'll set up my indicators. Another note with this SMT indicator is that I have the position of the label, especially on the higher time frames, like all this at the end. So instead of in the middle, I have it at the end, because the way this indicator works is that, let's say we get a 3-month SMT, a quarterly, SMT on the quarter, and the the label will show, but the line won't show unless you go all the way back on the 1 minute and go to that actual pivot point from that 3-month, or let's say it's a weekly or monthly sequential SMT. It'll just show the label until you go back. It'll plot the line. Um, so that way, if it's at the end of the label or at the end of the line, you'll see the label pop up before you see the line, and you know that the SMT is active and there. And then, of course, it confirms with the CST after the SMT. And then for my entry, the way I use the Goldbach numbers is that I use it more as a confluence to really be confident in my trade. I mean, it's just like it's like the last cherry on top confluence to know that I'm on the right side. So, for example, if I took this short, let's just go to replay here. All right. Let them load. Go down to my 15-second as soon as I see the SMT. Let it load here a little bit. Okay, SMT is forming. So we have a a micro SMT plus, I think there's a 6-hour SMT as well. 6-hour session SMT. And then boom, once I see this, that's not showing. I go to the 1 minute, will it show? Or did it just not hit yet? I got a double SSMT. Let this load. Okay, maybe it hasn't. Maybe I need to give it a minute to. Did I get it at the right time? I did. Okay. Strange. Maybe it is because we're on replay. Oh, here we go. I just went to the wrong time here. But let's say that it was. Yeah. Let's just use this example. Anyways, so we came here. We get the SMT on the 15 second. We see the SMT form, and I'm looking for shorts at the premium of this current range. When we get the SMT, and then we also get the GB time, right? That is my confluence to say, hey, I'm pretty dang confident that this is the high. We've ended the algo path, the Goldbach algo path. We're in premium, the rejection block level of this 243 PO3 range. I know that it'll probably go at least to the skip level, which lines up with the sell side liquidity down here and potentially down to the rebalance range, right? So yeah, so take the short, right? Get in on that inversion, somewhere around there. And what was that, guys? So I had a light screen before, so boom, take it down to the sell side right here, right? Something like that. So that's how I would use those Goldbach times, is that after my SMT, my CSD, getting all those confluences, I also see the Goldbach times, like boom, I know we're above TMSO, we're above PM open, and boom, I know that I'm good for shorts, and it's a pretty high probability trade. Getting that low risk sell all the way down to boom, there it is, hit the GIP level, 83, right? Hit that GIP, and we created an SMT, so we're probably going to retrace again. So, anyways, that's how I use that, and that's how I have my chart set up. So I think I went over everything that I wanted to go through, but I just wanted to give you a kind of a high level overview, make it somewhat quick on how I have my setups. So again, that's the PO3 numbers, the 243 on the 1 minute, 729 on the medium time frame, and then the 2187 on the higher time frames to gauge order flow. And then I'm always using those dip levels to gauge order flow to see what we're doing, see if bodies are closing above or below those levels to kind of gauge order flow, and then of course seeing if we're in the discount or premium of those Goldbach levels to see where price wants to go. So currently, for example, because we are bullish on the algo sequence, I suspect that, let me get out of here, so we're on live price action. On Friday, we're going to hit this target, or maybe in London we'll hit this target, and then Friday, then we'll create high of the week on Friday and get up to this rebalance layer. Depending on what we do here at this GIP level, we'll see if we actually go higher or we end the day retracing back into the range. But I think, regardless, I think we'll hit this level sometime on Friday. So that's how I gauge order flow, and of course it's fractal, so it goes down to the 1 minute as well on those on your entry your entry window, and that's how that works. So that's it for now, guys. I want to keep this hopefully as short as I could here. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want these indicators, those will be in the description as well. You get the whole Algo Logic suite for only $35 a month. Plus, you get all my other experimental indicators. I've got some experimental, like Goldbach time indicators that aren't really released publicly, but you at least get all of those, all my indicators, basically with that one bundle. And if you purchase a lifetime package, which is just $350, you get it for life, plus all updates and all other future indicators included in that as well. So that's it for now. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm repeating myself. I'll end it now. See you guys next time. Peace.